talk about breasts.
Let's talk about you and me
Let's talk about all the good things.
and all the bad things.
Welcome to episode 74 of BoobTube. I'm your breast friend, Jaleesa, and we're here because it is not only National Breastfeeding Month, but this week in particular is Black Breastfeeding Week. So before we get into why this week exists, let's take BoobTube to the streets.
You mentioned being a mom. Did you breastfeed?
Yes,
Were you breastfed?
I was.
Yeah.
All right.
So she
See,
was
it's
on
still
it.
positive. Were you breastfed?
I think so. I was a healthy baby, you know what I mean? But then when I got a little older, I became skinny. So I think that's where that breast milk shedded them pounds.
Okay.
And then I got big boy again. You know.
Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with some good health as well. Why do you think Black women are less likely to breastfeed their babies?
Wow. I don't think black women are less likely. But if that's just, I don't know who's catching these facts. So I don't know. I don't know.
That's fair too.
So not everyone knows that Black mothers are less likely to breastfeed or the statistics behind that. And, that's okay. That's why we're here, so that we can talk about it and educate. And we see that there were people that were breastfed and some that were not. There are some women who do breastfeed, some women who do not breastfeed, and both are okay as long as your baby is being nourished. So let's dive right into it. This week marks Black Breastfeeding Week 2025, a time to celebrate, advocate, and amplify the stories of Black breastfeeding parents and communities. Started in 2013, it was created to address the unique challenges Black families face when it comes to breastfeeding. And with this, it's bringing awareness to the fact that a lot of Black women do not breastfeed as much as other racial groups. So, as previously mentioned, this August is National Breastfeeding Month, and we've talked about breastfeeding in the past during this month. And now we're going to talk about Black Breastfeeding Week, which is the last week of National Breastfeeding Month. So it's always the last week in August. It was brought to us by three Black women who had the goal of uplifting and supporting Black families in their breastfeeding journeys. In brief, some of the reasons that they don't is because of a lack of support and representation for breastfeeding when it comes to Black women. And there's also a lack of lactation consultants to help Black breastfeeding mothers. You have workplace barriers, sometimes schedules don't allow, or the workplace itself doesn't have a space that allows for women to be able to continue with breastfeeding when they're away from the baby. There's also slavery that plays a role in medical mistrust and impacts of perceptions and experiences of Black women. And then you also have things such as economic inequalities and socioeconomic factors, including access to healthcare and breastfeeding. So I'm going to talk about those categories in more depth. So let's dive right in. Black Breastfeeding Week addresses health disparities because Black infants in the U.S. experience disproportionately higher rates of infant mortality and diet-related illnesses. Promoting breastfeeding informed by supportive, culturally relevant resources is a powerful and evidence-based way to improve both maternal and infant health outcomes. So, we do know that, or you might not know, that there is higher infant mortality rates and mortality rates for women who are mothers giving birth or recently given birth, and they're higher for Black women in the US. And that is something that we are hearing more about. There's more awareness about it, and they're working to find a solution. So you've seen it in the media, you've seen it with Kamala Harris. She had an event where she spoke about it as she invited one of the doctors from Married to Medicine, Dr. Jackie, and they discussed this and are working to see what they can do to help solve this issue. So it makes sense that this is an issue that also where breastfeeding plays a role as well. Black Breastfeeding Week also highlights structural barriers. Black mothers often face unique challenges such as systemic racism, lack of workplace accommodations, aggressive formula marketing in Black communities, and limited access to culturally competent lactation support that contribute to lower breastfeeding rates. So, we talked about that earlier. Not every workplace has a designated space for you to be able to pump. And I've known this to happen from mothers that I know that are in a return to the workplace and they just go and have to pump in their cars. There's not a designated space for them to be able to do so with the privacy that is required or the sanitation that is required. Just think about your workplace. Do you think that they have a space where women can breastfeed, or should I say, where women can pump because they might not have the baby with them? But let's just say that the baby can be there. Is there a space for them to breastfeed? Is there a space for them to pump? Is there time that allows them to do so? Are they allowing them time to do this in addition to regular break times? So just think of those type of workplace barriers, and that could stop a woman from wanting to breastfeed or being able to breastfeed because they can't pump or they can't breastfeed during the allotted times that they have to have breaks at work. Just things like that. So just think about that for a second. Another thing that Black Breastfeeding Week highlights is reclaiming the cultural narrative. So the week serves as a reclamation, celebrating breastfeeding as both a personal and communal act of healing and resistance. It honors ancestral connections and counters generational trauma that disrupted nurturing practices, particularly during slavery. So, as you can imagine, during slavery, there were a lot of separation between mother and child, which could bring about the generational trauma that disrupted those nurturing practices. You also had women who were nursing mothers, and even if they were no longer nursing their own child due to separation or just age, they were still required to nurse other children that were not theirs, including those that did not belong to slaves. So that's another thing that plays a role there when it comes to slavery. As far as it being an act of resistance, that is because, as previously mentioned, there are aggressive formula marketing tools in the Black communities, and resisting is not feeding into those marketing strategies, not letting them win by being able to nurse your own children without the help of formula. And again, every mother's journey is different. So again, there's no issue if you do use formula or if you did use formula or if you use it to supplement or in addition to your breast milk. That is okay. Just saying that it is factual that formula is advertised more and to the Black communities, and that not using the formula is a way to resist that. Black women have the lowest breastfeeding initiation rates in the US. The CDC provided information regarding breastfeeding initiation around birth, and it's based on race. So, Asian mothers overall had a 90.1% initiated breastfeeding rate, White mothers, non-Hispanic, 85.9%. Hispanic mothers, 86.8%. With Cuban mothers at 90.9%, and Puerto Rican mothers are the lowest at 82.2%. People that are more than one race were at 83.1%. Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islanders were at 80.7%. American Indian or Alaska Native were at 77.7%. And Black non-Hispanic mothers are at the lowest with 74.5% initiation rate. So 74.5% of Black mothers initiated breastfeeding at or around birth, and Asian mothers at the highest with 90.1%. So as you can see, there's a big difference between 74.5 and 90.1. In addition, statistics show that racial and ethnic gaps in breastfeeding remain significant at 6 months, with only 35.3% of Black mothers still breastfeeding, compared with 55.8% of white mothers and 51.4% of Hispanic mothers. So there go some of your statistics in case you needed some numbers to back up this information that there are disparities here. And you might wonder, why are there disparities? And that's what I'm here to discuss. Another fun fact to know is that there has been legislative recognition for Black Breastfeeding Week, where there have been some U.S. lawmakers that have introduced resolutions like H-Res 1416 to officially recognize Black Breastfeeding Week, underscoring its importance as a health equity initiative. So if you are to look up H-Res 1416, it shows that this resolution recognizes the negative effects of systemic and institutional racism on the ability of Black women to meet breastfeeding guidelines. It also recognizes that the barriers created by racism contribute to health disparities and identifies policies to mitigate these barriers. Black Breastfeeding Week also brings about community and storytelling and joy. So they have various events that highlight these things so that women can come together and feel that support and community in breastfeeding wherever they are on their journeys, whatever they may have experienced, whatever they may experience in the future. They know that they have that community, and that is another thing that Black Breastfeeding Week aims to highlight. So, of course, with anything that we go through, it's important to feel like someone can relate, someone can help you understand things better. Someone may have experienced something that can help you get through what you're experiencing, so on and so forth. So it's always important to have community, which is why we have National Breastfeeding Month, in addition to the reason that we have Black Breastfeeding Week during that month, because it's important to have community. Black Breastfeeding Week addresses the unique challenges that Black mothers experience during breastfeeding. And this week, if you do check out Black Breastfeeding Week, the theme is boots on the ground, which would equate to boobs on the ground. And it's rooted in breastfeeding success, grounded in community support. So again, important to have that community. And this year, they will have various events that support this theme of having your boobs on the ground, meaning grounded, not literally on the ground. Black Breastfeeding Week is more than an awareness campaign. It's a movement rooted in health equity, cultural reclamation, and community empowerment. By highlighting the importance of culturally relevant support, celebrating Black parenting, and acknowledging historical and systemic barriers, this week helps ensure Black mothers and families have equitable access to breastfeeding resources and opportunities. So think about different ways that you are able to support this week. Of course, you can visit their website for Black Breastfeeding Week, or their socials and join the movement. You can also support a Black breastfeeding mother, perhaps see if there's something that she needs. Is there a resource that you can provide them with? There are lactation consultants around. If you are in the US, you can look at La Leche League. They have different lactating consultants. And of course, it's not just that. Perhaps you know someone who is in that field, or maybe you know a gynecologist or a doctor, someone that can help that you can lead them to. Maybe you saw some lactation cookies online that you want to gift them. Maybe you saw a video on YouTube about hormones and which hormones help support breastfeeding and which ones might bring some issues to them. Maybe you have a Black mother, friend, or daughter, cousin, sister, aunt, whoever that is experiencing postpartum depression and they're having some issues with milk production. Maybe there's something that you can do to help or help lighten the load for them. Just anything. Just help a mother out this week. So just research it. Think of the different ways that you can support. Maybe there are some dads that you can give this information to that will be able to support their wives, mothers of their children, etc., in their breastfeeding journeys because they don't know a lot that goes into this. So it wouldn't hurt to pass on this information to someone. Maybe you never heard of Black Breastfeeding Week before now, and that's great because I always aim to educate you all. So there was once upon a time where I had never heard of Black Breastfeeding Week myself. So see how you can support Black Breastfeeding Week and support a nursing mother or soon to be nursing mother. So you might be wondering where you can go to support Black Breastfeeding Week directly. You can visit blackbreastfeedingweek.org, which is their website. They also have different in-person events in Oakland, California, and New York City, New York this week. And if you are not in any of those areas, then you are able to join virtually for some of their events that they have going on this week as well. So make sure that you check them out and see ways that you can support Black Breastfeeding Week if you are interested. So there are other Black-led organizations that you can consider for supporting Black Breastfeeding Week. There's Black Mothers Breastfeeding Association. There's Reaching Our Sisters Everywhere, acronym being ROSE, like the flower. And there's National Association of Professional and Peer Lactation Supporters of Color. You can, again, attend or donate to local events, advocate for better breastfeeding policies, normalize public breastfeeding, especially for Black families, and follow the hashtag Black Breastfeeding Week to get even more information and see things in real time from real life people when it comes to breastfeeding. That's great progress that it is receiving legislative recognition because it's important to get the word out there. Again, many people don't know that there are any existing disparities when it comes to breastfeeding and breastfeeding mothers. We know we talk about having spaces to breastfeed. You might think about the pods that you see in airports or other public places for moms to go, or special rooms in churches or hospitals where moms can go. But are they talking about the racial disparities that exist when it comes to breastfeeding? So that's what I'm here for, just to educate you all on all things breast. And this week we're talking about Black breast feeding mothers. See what I did there? Okay. Breastfeeding is a human right and an act of resistance and resilience for many Black families. So be sure to listen and learn by hearing uplifting stories that often go unheard from these Black mothers during Black Breastfeeding Week, and of course, beyond that as well. I hope that this sheds some light on the existing issue that we have here in our country and just broadened your horizons and your perspectives when it comes to breastfeeding. Again, be sure to share this information with someone, like, comment, subscribe. Make sure that you stay tuned in as next time we'll bring in some more information regarding some breast health. Happy Black Breastfeeding Week and happy National Breastfeeding Month. Until next time, adios.